Let me jump in. Welcome to the latest episode of Cut to the Chase.
Well, you got it. You got the better out of me today. We're talking.
Well, 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. I'll take that. We're talking one toothbrush.
Well, there are people going, what the hell are you talking about?
That was a headline. Remember, you gave me the headline. We actually used it at the time, and it did turn a few heads. One toothbrush is when, unfortunately, you're going separate ways with your partner. You're splitting up. No more husband and wife. Going to be two single people, and they need to sell the house, and it's going to be very, very tricky. Because it's not easy, because they're separating.
Well, I've seen another one which said it was once the perfect match, it's now a mismatch, and it's time for the dispatch.
Well, that's a good one. It doesn't fit in the 50 characters on realestate.co.nz, though. It does not fit. It's too long. But that's a good one. Trying to take note. But it is very challenging, right? They are going through hell, and he's probably done something bad, but both resenting each other, one more than the other, and one is going to make it harder to the other person.
Well, you got to work out which one is paying emotionally and which one's paying financially. Quite often too in those situations, regretfully, I've been there twice, so I get it. But when we talk about trust, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we've been here before. Let's acknowledge this is not good. It's not a nice thing to go through, but we've got your back. We've dealt with it before, and quite often if there is a disparity, and because there is some are amicable, right? They're okay with it, but the ones that aren't going too well, then quite often you got to bring in a second agent, right? One deals with one deals with the other.
Yes, 100%. And look, them I said as well, we're not sexist, but sometimes it's good to have a male and a female. If they're not talking, if the vendors are not talking, I think it's crucial that you have two group chats. But you set those boundaries very, very clear from the get-go to let them know that anything that is very important, the solicitor will be CC'd in an email with them as well. And that's the only time that we're going to be in a group conversation. Everything else is going to be two different group chats. We're going to have two review meetings. We're going to have two reserve meetings, two strategy meetings, whatever it is, so that we can give them the time and space separately. Okay?
And they always have a set different reserve, and you got to know how to deal with that. So I think we've done it many times.
We've done it, but I'll explain it, because I think it's black and white, but it's...
Hey guys, we acknowledge this is not an easy situation. Opinions, we value everyone's opinion on value, and no one's right or no one's wrong. Seller A, what would you like to set your reserve at logically, optimistically, realistically? 1.2. Seller B, what would you like to set it at? 1.1. Okay, so the reserve is now 1.2. You put both reserves down because at the end of the day, legally, you have to have them, but you're validating both opinions versus having to get them to agree and then they argue. Put them both down on the reserve set, run the auction, the deadline, the PBN, or whatever you're doing, and then present the offers, because they really don't matter at the end of the day.
Still probably going to go to a lawyer.
Well, it is. I had one last week, exactly that, where it was a court-imposed sale, and the courts were there actually, with the two solicitors. They couldn't agree. Highest bidder went on paper. We sent it to the solicitors. A day later, they sorted out. Because the person who's saying, no, I don't want to sell, emotionally, no problem, will then buy the other partner out at your value that you think's higher. If not, then here's the money, move on with your life.
Correct. One little tip that I would think everybody would knew, but conveyancing solicitor, only one. So a lot of the times when I'm in this situation, I will explain from the get-go that yes, you got your own solicitor, but you're going to find a neutral solicitor for your conveyancing, and that solicitor can talk to your solicitor directly.
Yes.
There's only one solicitor. But all of that, you got to frame it at the listing presentation, at the start of the relationship. Or the process, because then there is no misunderstanding, and you set the guidelines, you set the rules of the game.
And once one of the parties thinks that the listing agent is favoring the other, then
No, you got to set up the rules, show them what the rules are, follow the rules, and in the end, it's going to become complicated, but not your mess to deal with.
Correct.
You're just looking after, and here's the crucial thing: it can very easily become emotional and just a roller coaster and all of that, right? No. We are the professional.
Yeah.
We're there to help you sell your house for the best possible price, and we'll guide you through it. And deal with your solicitor and anyone else that you need to, but let us focus on what we do best.
Because as soon as it gets emotional, logic goes out the window.
But the agent said, and this, no.
Well, it's the same with any negotiation. I say to newbies all the time, if a vendor and a buyer ever don't like each other, it's your responsibility. You're the arbitrator in the middle, and for whatever you've said, if they don't like each other, take responsibility. It shouldn't happen.
Well, that's another very important role of a real estate agent, basically, being in the middle, right? Thanks for watching. Cut to the chase. We'll see you next week.
See you next time.